Hey folks, Dagan here. Now the eagle-eyed amongst you will have noticed that this past weekend has been at the 2026 NAMM Show. And if you're unfamiliar with what the NAMM Show is, it's a big exhibition that happens at the start of every year in Anaheim, California, where all the world's biggest and best brands in the musical instrument space come together to showcase what they're releasing either at the show or later on in the year. And I'm normally there, shooting videos on all the cool stuff that gets released, uploading it to YouTube so you guys get to see it first. But a bit's changed, and I'm not there in 2026. I will be back in 2027, so I thought I'd shoot a little video and let you guys know some of the coolest things that I personally believe have been released at the show and what to get excited about. My personal highlights that I think you guys will get a kick out of too. And as always, if you want any more information on any of the bits of gear that I talk about in today's video, or even if you want to purchase the bits yourself, you'll find everything linked in the description box just down there where you can check it out at the wonderful place that is, of course, this video sponsor and indeed this channel sponsor, Andertons, who have, of course, been over in Anaheim, Lee and Pete, shooting some awesome gear over there. So, of course, check out the Andertons channel on YouTube to get really in depth with all the cool intricacies and all the good stuff there and then. This is just some of my highlights. So let's get into it. Now, unsurprising, there's always so much stuff that gets released at the NAMM Show. I'd be here for hours if I go through everything that I thought was cool. So feel free to comment down below your favorite thing, the thing I've missed, the thing I should have spoke about, or even if I've missed something, like, oh, Dagan, you should really check this out from the NAMM Show. It looks really cool. But the first thing I want to talk about is the EVH Striped Series Relic Bumblebee Frankie. Now, the EVH purist in me thinks that the Frankie should just really stay the Frankie with the red, white, and black, the open pickups, the way the Eddie's Frankenstrat, whatever you want to call it, was originally back in the day. They've released individual colour versions of it, they've released sunburst versions of it, and now they've released the Bumblebee, which the original Bumblebee didn't look anything like the Frankie. In my head, it shouldn't work, but boy does it look cool. The Bumblebee has its own very unique stripe pattern on it, which is different to the 5150 Kramer or the Frankenstrat or anything else in between. It's iconic the way the stripes are laid out. I don't think anything else has changed in the guitar. It still will have the proper pickups and the Floyd and stuff, but it's also got the matching black headstock, which is what the original Bumblebee Charvel headstock had on it before it got buried with Dimebag Darrell, which is where it lies now. I think it's really cool. Again, shouldn't really work because a purist in me doesn't want it to, but it's so bloody cool. What do you think? Sticking with Frankies and Relics and EVH as well, they've put the Frankenstein red, white, and black Relic look onto a Wolfgang special. I think this is really cool. They've done the Striped series, well, the striped versions of the Wolfgangs in the past. This is a very funky, unique one because Eddie had a striped Wolfgang which had the Drop to Hell brass bridge on it and stuff. It was a very unique thing. This isn't essentially that. It's more of a, well, yeah, like cross-pollinating the Frankenstrat and the Wolfgang. Again, two different kind of worlds, but it works and it looks cool, and my guitar acquisition syndrome is firing in my head. I kind of want one. And also the last thing I mentioned with EVH are the new colours on the SA126s. You've got the natural quilt, but also a platinum pearl white with gold appointments. I'm a sucker for a white and gold guitar, like SG Customs and the rest, so I think this is beautiful. Moving on from guitars for a little second, amplifiers. Tons of cool amps were released at the NAMM Show, but just before the NAMM Show, so it kind of fits into the whole thing. MESA Boogie have re-released the 90s version of their dual and triple rectifier, but the dual rectifier is the amp I want to talk about right now. There's so much lore around MESA's rectifiers, like the dual rectifiers and stuff. There's been so many revisions over the years. They look the same, they have looked the same throughout, but tonally they have sounded extremely different from the 90s up until the modern rectifiers. And the Holy Grail is a 90s proper dual rectifier, and they've re-released it. So this is, I think it's in between a Rev, what was it, a Rev F and a Rev G. People were getting their modern rectifiers modified to sound more like the vintage ones. It's on so many iconic records, like the great metal amps, but so many other rockers, like pop and rock guys, use these 90s dual rectifiers. It's 100 watts, it's got 9 tubes in it. How many tubes has it got? It's got 5 12VX7s in the preamp and 4 6L6s in the power amp section. So it will absolutely breathe fire. I don't know if it's limited edition or not. I'm guessing it's going to cost a lot of money because it's got the chrome front panel on, and I saw the guy from Gibson talk about how it's designed and created by a hot rod company. So they actually press the chrome stuff in, and you can only do like 50 at a time, so I'm guessing because of that it sounds quite expensive. But I'm really enjoying what Gibson are doing with Mesa Boogie at the minute. They kind of hit a plateau, but now I think they're kind of listening to what people want, and what people want, and have wanted for ages, is a revision of the 90s dual rectifier. Now it's back. And speaking of Gibson, Gibson Epiphone have released some corkers this year. Some of my highlights are the Gibson Victory with the Floyd Rose, 25.5-inch scale, that classic kind of double cut, which harkens back to old M1 and M3 models from the 80s and stuff. It's got a Floyd Rose. The one they had at the NAMM Show was slime green. I just think it's really cool. It's not for everyone, but it's right up my street. But Epiphone is very interesting. They've got the new Les Paul Special in the lineup, which looks $1 million. That classic double cut design, obviously the Les Paul double cut Juniors had the single P90, the Specials always had the 2 pickups, and this has 2 humbuckers. The binding looks awesome, and this is a guitar which was only available in the Gibson Custom Shop, and this isn't even an Epiphone inspired by Gibson Custom Shop version, so it's not loads of money for an Epiphone. It's in Epiphone's core lineup. It looks $1 million, and if it plays and sounds as good as it looks, I might just have to get one. Other fun things from Epiphone, they had a sparkly Lizzie Hale Explorer, which is really cool. I really want them to bring out... Lizzie Hale's got a gold top Explorer, which is a baritone. I really want them to do something with that, either Gibson or Epiphone. So if, for whatever reason, someone's watching from Gibson Epiphone, please bring out the Lizzie Hale baritone gold top Explorer, because it's absolutely mint. Anyways, they've got the new Futura collection as well. And I don't know, I'm guessing this might replace the old Prophecy guitars, because they are very similar kind of vein, but these look... They look a lot more sleeker. They look less abalone and flame and stuff. They are still crazy because they've all got colour changing finishes and stuff, but they seem a lot sleeker. And my favourite from the bunch is the RD. The Gibson RD is just iconic. It's like a modified, futuristic Firebird almost, and now you can get it in the Futura collection. They also have a Firebird, a regular Firebird as well, which is cool to see with all these kind of modern appointments. Got a flat top. They've all got the new Epiphone Ignite humbuckers, which have more sizzle, higher output and whatnot. Lock-in tuners, ebony fingerboards, that old kind of, like a continuation of the Prophecies, I guess, like a modern version of the classics. Speaking of classics, there's also an EMG-loaded 80s-inspired Epiphone Explorer. Very Hetfield, very lovely. Everyone's going to love that. They did make that in the 2000s, I think, so it's good to see it back. Now, I wasn't going to mention this next one, because everyone's already spoke about it loads, but because I mentioned the fact that I want a Lizzie Hale baritone Explorer, PRS have released the Ed Sheeran baritone hollow body piezo cosmic splash thing. It's interesting, isn't it? I'm a Ed Sheeran fan. He gets a lot of stick for being like a pop artist and stuff, but the dude can play guitar and the way he loops and stuff, and he's inspired so many folk, whether it be kids or adults, to pick up guitar. That's not a bad thing. I'm here for that. But the fact he's got people have been wanting a PRS SE baritone for a long time, and there has been guitars smattered about over the years, but the fact that I've now got one with Ed Sheeran's name on it, it does look really cool with a splatter paint job and stuff. It's got his little play and rewind and equals inlays and stuff on. It's very interesting. 8515S pickups, LR bags piezo under the bridge. What do you think? So I'm sure this guitar is a limited edition as well, which makes me think they might bring out a non-colour splash version with regular birds or dots on the inlays later on as a more core production model. We'll see. But speaking of limited edition, there's the new Wild Blue Silver Sky by John Mayer with a matching headstock. This is based off his love of watches and obviously the Tiffany & Co. Pateks and Rolexes and stuff, that specific turquoise colour. You can now get it on a limited edition Silver Sky. And it's on the headstock too. Really cool. But speaking of really cool finishes at the NAMM Show, I think the guitar that takes the cake is the limited edition, well, one-off, I think there might be a couple of them. Ibanez Pierre Steve Vai Signature in that insane gold filigree hand-painted finish. That thing's just mental. They've done this a few times with Pierre and with Gems in the past, where they do like one-off or like a very small select run of unique guitars, like they did a dipped version last year or the year before. But this one, it's literally hand-painted. It's gilded in 24-karat gold, and it's, well, I'll show you 2 seconds. I bought one of his straps a little while ago with the kind of gold filigree Damasio clip-lock straps, and he has this kind of design on the pickup covers of his Utopia Damasio pickups, So this design just kind of continued onto the rest of the guitar. Again, I don't think it's for us, the general population, to own or have, unless you've got many monies, but it's one of the cooler guitars from the show, so I thought I'd share it with you guys. Alongside another really cool signature guitar from the show, Nili Brosh, an amazing guitar player I've seen on Instagram for years. She plays with Danny Elfman and stuff. She finally has a signature guitar, and it looks as if someone who really likes Ibanez shred guitars has designed an Ibanez shred guitar. It's got a really funky, unique burst finish, bright pickups. It's got exclamation mark inlays on the maple fingerboard. It's a shredder's delight. She's very worthy of having a signature guitar as well, and I think it looks badass. Speaking of badass guitars, ESP and LTD always deliver at the NAMM Show. They always release some absolutely stunning bits of kit, and 2026 is no different. They've updated the 200 series, the 1000 series, and the E2s with some funky new designs and colours and features and stuff, but the signatures is what I want to talk about today. The first one being the new George Lynch, the GK200K, which is an affordable version of his Kamikaze guitar, the famous Kamikaze guitar with the big reverse hockey stick headstock. It's a bigger body, which is what I've always loved about the George Lynch guitars. Like Strats, I'm a very tall man, can seem quite small. The George Lynch is a bigger guitar, so it kind of fits a bit better for me, and this is a more affordable version. It's black on black on black. It's really cool, and they haven't really done a guitar with George Lynch like this before. They've always had the crazy Bengal Tiger or the Kamikaze or whatever. So this is really cool to see. Next up, Joe Duplantier. His little soiree into the world of ESP and LTD was on full show at the Olympics with his lovely chrome offset. He's now got one silver burst. It's got his signature DiMarzio pickup in the bridge. One pickup, it's all you need, kind of akin to his old Charvels and stuff, but this thing it's pretty intense looking, isn't it? Hasn't got an Evertune on. People were thinking it's going to come with an Evertune, but it's got a really low profile hip shot tonematic bridge and stop bar tailpiece. And if you've never played one of those hip shot tonematic bridges, they are very akin to a Tune-o-matic. They work the same, but they're super low profile. Like, they don't feel anything like a Gibson or Epiphone Tune-o-matic or whatever. They're super low profile and very high performance, so for all the kind of crazy Gojira stuff, it's very smooth on the whatever that bit of your hand is. The body style is new too. There's been offsets akin to Jazzmasters and Jaguars in LTD and ESP's catalogue for a little while now, but this is actually a new body design with a slightly edgier lower horn. And speaking of edgy horns, the Alexis are back. The Sawtooth and the Arrowhead. I'm a huge die-hard Alexi Laiho fan. I love Children of Bodom, I love his guitars, and the fact that these are back in the LTD lineup, two iconic ones, are just fantastic. But what's really interesting is the fact that they've actually scalloped from the 19th to the 24th fret on the LTDs, which they never did in the past. It was only the ESPs and the custom shops which had the scalloping. This has the scallops, or these have the scallops, I should say. With a single passive EMG. I don't know if it's got the gain boost circuit in that Alexi had, but you could put one of them in yourself if it hasn't already got one. If they were to bring out a pinky version, which I really hope they do in the future, I would have one in a heartbeat. But yeah, I'm so pleased Alexi, well, the Alexi estate, the Alexi family, have worked with ESP to bring these back in the more affordable, not crazy custom shop price range. Next up, we have some more incredible guitars. And I know there's a few contenders even in this list for the best looking guitars at the NAMM Show, but these are up there for me. These are the new rock and roll Relics, Thunders, Lightning, and Starfighter models in a new finish called, I think they call it Never Mind the Finish. And if you've followed me on YouTube for a little while or know anything about me, you know that I'm a die-hard Sex Pistols fan. Steve Jones is one of my all-time guitar heroes, and these guitars are obviously based off this. Never mind the bollocks, he's a Sex Pistols, one of the most iconic albums of all time, with the most iconic colorway. That pink and yellow is just instantly recognizable, and it suits these guitars really well. They are available at Andertons as well. The limited edition, I think they're only going to make, well, maybe only these three. Lee and Pete had a good chat with Billy Rowe from Rock and Roll Relics, and link to the description box down below is where you can get them. They're really cool as well because it's not just the finish on the top, they've mismatched the neck and the body. The set neck is pink on some and the body's yellow. You've got the Union Jack on the back of the Lightning model as well. Matching colorways with the knobs and stuff. And of course, with the namesake, they are lovely and Relic too. Now next up is something quite interesting and something that I didn't think that I'd go deep down the rabbit hole, finding out what it is and what I could do as much as I actually did. And it's a thing called a JBL Band Box. Now JBL, they make speakers and stuff. We know the name JBL, it's been around for years, but they haven't really delved into the world of musical instrument products. But this band box thing really interested me when I started reading about it. So there's two, there's a solo and what is it, the trio. One's really small, kind of like the tiny little positive grid ones, and one of them's slightly bigger. And they're little guitar amps, which are AI powered. Now AI is a bad word, it's a bad thing when it comes to the guitar world. People are writing music and writing lyrics and stuff and crapping over so many things in the music industry that way. But in this sense, it's kind of used for good. So what you can do with the band box is stream music to it from your device, your phone or your iPad or whatever. You haven't got to download it to it, just stream it. And AI will take the stems out and split it into vocals, guitar, bass, drums, or whatever. So you'll plug your guitar in, stream along with a backing track, and if you want, you can automatically take out the guitar of any of your favorite songs and jam along that way. That's pretty cool. So that means you can isolate parts of like solos and play along with them, mute the rest of it. You can change the keys of things. It's like jamming or having an entire band with you that you can just control and tell them what to do. Change the key, stop playing bass, I want to play bass for this part, or whatever. That's probably why it's called the band box, isn't it? But yeah, it's a 4-channel mixer built into it as well. Of course, all the amp sounds are built in there, all the ones you'd expect from clean stuff to heavy metal and everything in between. Built-in effects. You can, what else can you do? You can plug a USB thing in, or whatever, and, USB stick, if people still use them. I don't know, but I've just started reading about it, okay? A USB stick and record directly to it, and record parts of either streaming along to stuff, or if you want to write a solo to one of your favorite tracks, or put one of your own tracks in and record it that way. It's really cool. There's a looper, there's a drum machine, there's a metronome, and they're like this big. I just thought it was really cool, and like I say, I went down a little rabbit hole when I started reading about it, and because it's a company like JBL, it's not like a brand new company trying something new for the first time. They've got a lot of power behind them, so hopefully I want to get my hands on one and see what it's all about. Sounds really cool. Sticking with tech as well, I've got to talk about the Quad Cortex Mini. Isn't it rad? Like all the power of the Quad Cortex in something just slightly bigger than your phone, which is just insane. I tried my first Quad Cortex a few months ago and I fell in love with it. It is great. Like, that's the reasons why it's becoming pretty much the industry standard now. Everyone's got Quad Cortexes. So this little thing is a bit more of my street. I would never personally use all the foot switches and stuff. I definitely wouldn't use all the ins and outs that come on the back of a regular Quad Cortex. So this little guy, being just as powerful, sounding just as good, put your captures in and do everything the big boy can, but smaller, I think it's really cool. I think it won Best in Show at the NAMM Show this year as well, so everyone probably already knows loads about it, but if you have been living under a rock, that's the new Quad Cortex Mini, and you will have knocked it out the park. Another really interesting thing that I saw, which I can't find tons of information about online, even like who's going to stock it. So I don't know if it's out yet or just like showcase at the NAMM Show that'll be coming out later in this year. It's the Casio Dimension Shifter. Now this is a little device you put on your guitar strap, like a B-bender, and like pull your strap down and the little string comes out. That's an expression pedal for whatever you want to express on your pedal board. So normally you'd put a expression pedal like a Boss one or a Dunlop one or whatever and manipulate the parameters that way. This is like a B-bender, so wirelessly, you hook something up to your pedal on the board, put the little Casio Dimension Shifter on your guitar strap, and when you pull on it, like a B-bender to alter the pitch of a B on a Nashville guitar or something, you can change the parameters that way. There's not many more things you can do to innovate guitar, and this is something that I really found interesting. I wouldn't really personally use it because I don't really use that kind of stuff, but I think more people should have eyes on this just to see what Casio are doing. Like, of all people, Casio have thought of this little device. Hopefully it takes off because it's really cool and I really want to try one. So you could hook it up to like a octave pedal or whatever and go up an octave by pulling on your strap, or hook it up to a delay, say, and when you pull on the strap, the delay feedback goes up and it goes crazy, like ethereal delays or reverbs or whatever. And when you go back to the normal position, it goes back to normal. Would you buy one? I want to try one. Friedman started 2026 off with a bang too. They've got some lovely new amps like the VX model, which is based off an old school Vox. But the amp I want to talk about is, of course, the PX20, the new Relics Signature. Felix is a legend and needs little to no introduction. He's had a signature 100-watt head with Friedman for a little while now, but now him and Dave have collaborated on a super versatile little 20-watt dual-channel amplifier with tons of little tone shaping switches. The clean channel is based off a classic American black panel amplifier with some Dumble-ish mods thanks to those switches, but the overdrive channel is where the magic really happens. Of course, it's that classic hot-rodded tone we all know and love and associate with Phil, but the little structure switch on the bottom, one side is a bit more old school because it's based off Phil's old JMP, one of his favorite amps of all time, and with the switch in the other direction, it's based off his more high-gain signature Friedman. Oh, and there's also a switchable boost control and a little thump switch on the back as well for more low end. Dave Friedman is a genius when it comes to making these small amps sound huge. Obviously his massive 100-watt amps sound huge and wonderful, but he's really good at making these little 20-watt amps sound like big amps. Whatever he does to the power transformer to give it the balls and the depth and the thump of a 100-watt amplifier is just so damn impressive. So you know this little 20-watt amplifier is gonna breathe fire and even blow your neighbor's windows out. They've also released a very interesting IR-Load box, which isn't really like, we've seen tons of IR-Load boxes in the past, like the Universal Audio Aux box, the Waza Expander by Boss, but this thing is, what's it got in it? Because he's worked with Synergy to create the machine learning power amp, which actually measures the voltage and current of what the amp's throwing out, I guess, before it goes into the load box, before it goes into the speaker cabinet or the XLR impulse response out. So it's constantly working and learning with the amplifier to make sure it's running at the best it possibly can. So there's no sag, there's no peaks or anything. It's constantly learning and working with the amp to make it constantly sound mint. It's also very fancy in the sense that it is an attenuator, so you can take a 100-watt amplifier and make it whisper quiet by turning it down, but still get the power amp and the power valves absolutely pumping to get that tone we all know and love. But you can also plug a little 5-watt amp in and then crank that up so it's like as loud as what a 100-watt amplifier would be. Very clever piece of kit. I do love it when companies like Friedman create products and gadgets and gizmos like this, because they are, like, as a company, and Dave Friedman himself is so true to that old school. Let's get the valves going. Like, none of this crazy modern stuff, let's do it the old school way. So when they create something modern, if you want to call it modern, like an impulse response load box, the tech that he's put in it isn't overtly like crazy and digital. He's worked in a way where it's the best for the valve amps and the best way to get that classic powered, like, push valve amp tone all in real time with that fancy, what's it called again? Machine learning power amp technology, which is basically a Swiss Army knife of a load box, the kind of which we've never seen before. And last but certainly not least, like I said, we're here all day if I want to do all the cool things from this year's NAMM show. It's Schecter's 50th anniversary guitars. They've got Avengers, they've got C1s, they've got Tempests, all in gold bursts, celebrating half a decade of being Schecter. Now, people don't realize Schecter have been around for this long. It hasn't always been the modern era of Schecter, even though I am a proper Schecter fanboy and I love the company and I love their guitars. But they've been going, well, 50 years as of 2026. Back in the day, modifying and hot rodding their own, essentially, strats and tellies and stuff and really putting them on the map. Back then, with people like Grover Jackson and Wayne Charvel, Schecter was really up there. They're celebrating 50 years. They've got some quite exotic woods in these guitars. So it's swamp ash, all neck through with maple and puduk, carbon fiber reinforced necks and stuff, extra jumbo stainless steel frets, loads of gold appointments on the Floyd Roses and on the Sustainiacs and stuff. They've got limited edition Sunset Strip Schecter USA humbuckers in the bridge, and I just think they're really special guitars. Little brass rings on the fingerboards as well. It's cool to see something like an Avenger adorned in this wonderful, almost royal aesthetic. I think they're beautiful. And because it's Schecter, they cater for everyone. So there's versions without Sustainiacs in the neck. They've got Schecter's USA Pasadena pickup in the neck. There's left-handed versions, and they're not crazy limited. Well, they are limited edition because there's only one 50th anniversary, so I'm guessing they're only going to be made for this year. They're not crazy money. They're not like £6,000 limited edition art pieces, even though they do look like art pieces. I think they're wonderful. And those, ladies and gentlemen, are my highlights from the 2026 NAMM Show. Again, for the third time, there's so much cool stuff, but so much cool stuff has been released at this year's NAMM Show, so comment down below all the things I've missed, all the stuff that you want to talk about. We'll have a little conversation in the comments just down there. And like I said at the start, everything is linked in the description box down below, so you can check it out, get more information, or even buy them for yourself. You can check it out from the fine folk at Andertons just down there. Thanks for watching, folks. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe. I've been Dagan. I'll see you next time.